What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, before I get into the video, let me give a shout out to two of my subscribers for their contributions. I want to give a shout out to Mel.
I want to give a shout out to my boy Too Raw, man. One of the realest niggas on YouTube, bro. Him. Ticket too, but Ticket be capping sometimes, bro, for little stuff, you know what I'm saying? Not capping, but he be contradicting himself a lot. But I fuck with Ticket heavy. He'll go in. One thing I fuck with Ticket was he don't care if it's 6 niggas going against him. He gonna go in the gauntlet. I watched him on the panel many a days. You know what I'm saying? Get you know what I'm saying? Get jumped by Damo, Mars, Legends of Losing. You know what I'm saying? Chill Town, so on and so forth. And I got that same type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we want to pull up on Pull Up Podcast. Can't wait. You know, it's going to be great. I'm not going to be there for long because I got stuff to do, actually, on that day. But Allen Iverson is overrated. That's something I never got, bro. Nah, the analytics people, they not going to like Allen Iverson. He wasn't super efficient. I get that. I get that 100%. But saying Allen Iverson is overrated is crazy, bro.
Melvin for contributing to the channel.
But then I think about it, he wasn't super efficient for this day and age. For the 2000s, he was average. And then you gotta think about it, he was maybe 6 feet at best, 170, averaging 29, averaging 30, averaging 32, averaging 33. AI would average 35, easy in this game. Easy. AI would average 35 today, bro. 35. Maybe 40. The way AI could score, bro. And the pay is so empty now. Man, please.
Much respect to Melvin. And also, once again, respect to Aram. Aram also contributed to the channel. Two of my...
Shout out to my boy Aram, man.
Alright, so shout out to them. Alright, so this video, I hadn't planned on doing this video. But what motivated me to do this video, and I'm trying to talk loud because some people say that they have a hard time hearing me on the mic. Alright, I think it has to do with my voice rather than the quality of the mic. I'm going to try to talk a little louder to see what microphones works better. But in the meantime, and what they do is this. This is what really pisses me off. A lot of the dialogue on YouTube does flow from the LDBC, whether it's boxing or whether it's basketball or whatever. A lot of the narrative, the dialogue, originates from us. What these motherfuckers do is they take our ideas and then they'll make videos about it, right? Acting like they didn't know where they got it from. Like
I saw some of y'all boys doing that to me too now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna name names and stuff. It ain't none of my boys Too Raw, Ticket, or none of them. But I saw some of y'all boys taking 1 or 2 of my ideas. I seen some of y'all boys. You know what I'm saying? A nigga might make a video like directly after I make one. You know what I'm saying? About something. And sometimes I do topics that I know for a fact ain't nobody really doing. Now, Too Raw be surprising me. This one dude that, I ain't gonna lie, I might make a video, and he might make one right after it. We just be on the same wavelength so hard. You know what I'm saying? I think we spoke on the Malika Andrews shit around the same time. I made a video, and I was like... On my talking, like, I made a video, I was amped up, you know what I'm saying, did my video, and he did one right, I think, either right after, and I was like, damn, me and Too Raw be on the wavelength so heavy, that's why, you know what I'm saying, I do my reactions to what a video he does, because I'm like, I might as well, you know what I'm saying, listen to what he's saying, and say what I say. Sometimes I disagree with Too Raw, you know, I disagree with Too Raw that Wilt is the GOAT, you know. You know what I'm saying? I disagree with Too Raw that Draymond Green is not a Hall of Famer. But that's still my dog. You know what I'm saying? I love all his content. Especially the political content is hilarious, though. Hilarious, man.
They originated the topic. And sometimes, yes, I'm talking about even ESPN and Fox Sports. But they won't even acknowledge that they're doing a response to us sometimes. Like, it's a particular channel. I'm not gonna name drop it because it doesn't deserve to be name dropped. You can just do a quick YouTube search to see who I'm talking about. And they're talking about how Allen Iverson is overrated. Now, over the past couple months, who do you really hear talk about Allen Iverson on here? Who have you seen making videos talking about Allen Iverson and why I feel like he's not overrated? Someone like me, right? But that's what I'm talking about. Okay? So, I watched this video, and they're going into the usual, examples or the usual talking points that people give about why AI is overrated. They talk about his field goal percentage. Okay? Now, this is what I have to say about AI's field goal percentage. Number one, for his career, he shot 42.5% from the floor. Now, that's not great.
Oh my God,
on
bro.
face value, like, wow, that's not good at all.
This nigga, dog.
But you have to take certain things into consideration here. Number one.
Yo, I know exactly who you talking about. And it's one or two channels, bro. It's either, and I'ma say the channels, I don't give a fuck. It's either Young Mustard or Rusty Buckets. Those two niggas I done seen make videos about AI being overrated and shit like that. Young Mustard is just a LeBron gobbler. That's all he is. I can't even get through 2 minutes of his video because he be meat gobbling. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those two dudes. Rusty Buckets that made so many videos where he's just dead ass wrong. Now he got some videos where he cooking. You know what I'm saying? But that Allen Iverson video is not one. And as far as Allen Iverson field goal percentage, bro, the average field goal percentage for a guard in the 2000s was 44%. I think Allen Iverson shot like something like 43.9%. But what you have to understand is that, once again, and I just hate having to keep on explaining this to people. The era in the 2000s was the slowest pace era in the last, 30, 40 years. They basically played a half-court game the whole game. It was really not that many transitional baskets and transitional points like that. It was very physical and not as physical as the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe not even as the 90s. After like 2001, 2002, once they took hand checking out and to me, and they implemented zone. To me, zone made it, you could kill me, but a little tougher to score. But 96.9 points a game, one of the slowest eras, definitely the slowest era in the last 20 years. And the big men were still prominent in the paint. Like, we was just getting into the era of the, you know what I'm saying, the Dirk and stretching the floor and everything like that. But for the most part, it was bigs in the paint banging. So imagine Allen Iverson at 6 feet, 170 pounds, who really wasn't too much of a three-point shooter, but could get hot, was a volume one. Get into the paint, you know what I'm saying? The crossover is deadly. So he getting past mostly anybody. I watched him cook up Kobe a few times. You feel me? That was one of my favorite battles. AI versus Kobe. For real, for real. Getting into the paint, mid-range, falling on the ground, layup, getting knocked to the ground, getting back up. AI was a dog, pound for pound, top 5, bro. Like, if we ain't just talking resume and everything like that, and we just talking like players and heart and who did the most with less. I ain't talking about champions. I'm just talking about, you know what I'm saying, just in general. That's why that 2001 run is so fucking like held. It holds AI to such a fucking crazy standard because of what that Lakers team was that year. They didn't lose a game that whole playoffs. And AI literally, offensively by himself, took their ass down with probably his most iconic game, stepping over Tyronn Lue, putting up 48 on Shaq and Kobe. Like, he was a fucking dog, bro. The disrespect is crazy. And the only people that disrespect him is these analytics nerds. Or the people who just started watching basketball in 2010 and shit like that.
You have to take the era that he played in.
True.
Okay? Now, if you go back, and you go back to, let's say, 1989, that was the last year of the Showtime Lakers, right? The average score in the NBA at that time, the average points per game was 109 points per game, all right? 109 points per game. The average field goal percentage in the NBA was about 48%. That's very, very high. You know, that's indicative of the fact that a lot of the shots were in the paint. There was a lot of fast break, easy opportunities, more mid-range, not a lot of threes being taken.
Well, I just say, and two are all like 10 years my senior. That lets you know that my mind is elevated, bro. Shout out to Aaron, man. That's one of my favorite subscribers, man. He damn near helped build this channel. DBZ, Rap Guy Reloaded, my boy, coming with the funniest comments. I just don't understand it, bro. I don't understand how anybody could say AI is overrated, especially seeing as he really didn't have the help that a lot of these other Hall of Famers or greats had. You know what I'm saying? If you want me to be real, give AI give him a top 15 player at this time. Shit, give AI T-Mac. See what the fuck he would have did. You know what I'm saying, on that squad. AI literally was the only offensive option on them Sixers teams. Well, until he kind of got Andre Iguodala, then he got a little help. He had Chris Webber, but he was like past his prime, low key. But like, seriously, like, give him a prime Chris Webber, like Sacramento Chris Webber, and what you think he would have did, seeing as he made the finals with a Tyrone Hill, Aaron McKee being his second best option, Eric Snow, Theo Ratliff, you know what I'm saying, who are solid role players, but offensively they wasn't. AI had to put up 30. If AI wasn't averaging 30 or putting up 30 a night and shit like that, they didn't have a chance, bro. Oh, man.
I would say at that time, maybe teams on average were taking about 4 or 5 a game. Yeah. Fast forward a little bit to 1993. All right. This is the era of the Chicago Bulls. This is the era of San Antonio Spurs and the Rockets and the Knicks. Just past the Pistons' peak. Scoring is dropping. Okay. The average points per game per team that season was about 105 points a game. So it's dropped. The average field goal percentage is down to 47%. Still pretty high, but it's dropped a little bit. Why is that? Well, maybe because it's a little bit of a copycat league. Many teams were starting to emphasize defense more. Games were becoming more of a half-court affair.
Yep.
Not as many open court, easy bucket opportunities. The game was slowing down, and it was getting harder to score. Okay? Now,
sure was.
Fast forward 3 more years, the 95-96 season. That was the first year in decades that the average score, the average points per game in the NBA per team was under 100. I think it was 99.5.
That's what he said.
Was that the average score. That was the first year in decades that the average score.
The first year in decades that the average score was below 100 points per game. The average score being below 100 points per game now, or in the 2010s, was like, what the hell is this? But back in the 90s and the 2000s, it was like, I'm gonna be real, that's the basketball I grew up. That's the basketball I love, bro. When they was fighting, clawing 88 to 90. And I love hearing y'all say, oh, they scoring more points because it's just more skilled players, just more skilled scorers. Nah, I don't agree with that at all. It's less defense, bro. It's less physical. What is a foul today would not be a foul in the 2000s. Damn sure not a foul in the 90s. And a nigga would just look at you in the 80s like, what, man? Get out of my face. That's the difference, bro. Spacing. The fact that damn near you got niggas like, I'm sorry, I like them, but you got like Victor Wembanyama standing on the perimeter 70% of the game. You know what I'm saying? Most of these bigs standing on the perimeter 30-40% of the game. Joel Embiid sometimes want to just act like a guard. You know what I'm saying? Like long rebounds. You know? Like it's so easy to get into the paint that when you get rim protectors and stuff, it's even more illuminated now because they're so scarce. In the 2000s, 90s, those were the staple. Like they really thought that honestly that you couldn't build a team around guards. You feel me? They was trying to build teams around big men. Big men were still so prominent in the 80s, 90s, and in the 2000s.
The average points per game in the NBA per team was under 100. I think it was 99.5. The Chicago Bulls led the NBA that year, scoring 105.3 or something like that. 10 years ago, that would have been a little bit on the low side. Field goal percentage was now down to 46%. And it would drop precipitously every year after that. I think in 97, the average points per team averaged like 96.9. Then it dropped to like 95. 90. Then I think the lowest it was 98, 99, which happened to coincide with the arrival of Allen Iverson, right? And then up until 2004, it was usually between 93 and 97 points per game.
See?
The league average as far as scoring per team. So that was the lowest it was. Not to mention the fact that in 2001, right, they instituted zone. Right? That era, 1996 to 2004, you could consider that Allen Iverson's peak.
Yep.
Field goal percentages were way down. I mentioned it was at 48% in 1989. By 1996, it was down to 46%. Then it dropped to 45%. Then I think the lowest it was 43% in the 99 season. Then it hovered around 44% or so for the next couple of years. Now, what's different about that era? Now, all of a sudden, the best teams are your Indiana Pacers, your Detroit Pistons, your San Antonio Spurs, all these defensive teams. Now, it might have been boring to watch for the average fan, but if you're a defensive lover like me, you love watching those games.
Yes.
Right?
Loved it.
You really got to see who really could put the ball in the basket.
Yes.
Okay. And when you watch that era.
And that's the difference. In the 2000s, you scoring 20, 25 a game meant you were an elite scorer. Easy. Even if you were scoring 20 a game. If you were scoring 30, like 28, 30 a game, and shit like that, those were the top scorers. The T-Macs, the Kobe's, the I give him his love. The LeBron James, the the Kobe Bryants, you know, the Shaquille O'Neals. You know what I'm saying? Even Dirk Nowitzki's, Tim Duncan's. Well, those was kind of on the low end, but the top scorers like the AIs, the T-Macs, the Kobe's, you know what I'm saying, the Melos, the LeBron Jameses, the Dwayne Wades, you know what I'm saying, averaging 25 plus. That was really like illuminated a lot because of how great the defenses were in that era, bro.
That era. Okay. 1990 post Jordan era, from '99 to before they changed all the rules, who was the game's best scorer? It was Allen Iverson. Okay, and this guy liked to make a lot of points about how he had such a low field goal percentage. But like I said, relative to his era, that's what you got to look at. Average field goal percentage in some of the seasons, 43, 44%. What was he shooting? In the low 40s. That's not bad considering that he was only, and he never mentions this, by the way.
Never.
He was 6 feet tall.
We mention it for you. Have you ever mentioned AI make excuses for how small he was or how, you know what I'm saying, light he was? Never. Because AI was a fucking dog. A dog, bro. I ain't seen a little man dog like him since. I love Curry, but he wasn't the dog that AI was, bro. I love Curry, but AI was a dog. I mean, straight up dog, bro. Like, AI, I loved AI. He changed the fucking game. He the reason why the dress code was instituted, bro. Niggas, bro, I had the headband, you know what I'm saying, with the fro. I was trying to grow my hair to get the braids. You feel me? I had the fro because of Kobe, you know what I'm saying? But I was trying to get the braids like AI, you know what I'm saying? AI and Kobe influenced me the most in that era. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's like he said, 43, 44%, which is what he hovered around. And like he said, like my boy Two Raw said, seeing as how small he was and where he was really scoring for, it'd have been different if he was like a sniper from 3-point. He was a mid-range shooter, like for real. He was getting his points in a lot layups and mid-range shots. And then if he had one of them nights where he, like a couple of those nights where he was going, he might take like a couple of threes. You know what I'm saying? But AI was not really shooting the three that much.
He's 6 feet tall. Really, he really was 5'11". Okay.
Yeah.
But in his shoes, 5'11", 3/4, 6 feet tall. He wasn't even really 6 feet tall. AI. Look at him. Does he look like he's 6 feet tall?
No.
He looks more like he's 5'11".
I give him 6 feet.
He's not a tall guy at all.
Okay, Two Raw. You tripping now. I don't know about no 5'10". I give you 5'11 and a half probably. With shoes on, with his type of shoes on, the shoes, because everybody remember the AIs in the 2000s. I give him 6 feet. But the fact that he was able to score, like, with the Kobe's, right there, him and Kobe, back and forth, then T-Mac like, hold on, nigga, let me get one in here. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Then Braun was elevating himself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's probably an inch taller than Mike Tyson. Maybe. Or about the same height as Mike Tyson. He's not a tall fucking guy. Now, keep in mind, he's playing in a league where the average height was 6'7". The average height today is 6'6". Even though they'll tell you the league is bigger and stronger, as I maintain constantly, I think the peak as far as the size of players in the NBA, that it might be more skilled today. I'll give you that.
I agree with that too.
I don't know about stronger.
Nah.
I honestly, I really, from watching NBA, I'll give you that players are more skilled. I won't question.
I'll tell you one thing though, they don't say. They more injured now. They're more injured now than ever. You be having so many dudes just injured out of nowhere and stuff like that, and you be like, damn, man, what happened? Or like, damn, what happened to him? Or something like this. Like, they're very brittle nowadays. And I'm going to say something. Load management has hurt the game, bro. Load management has hurt the game. And I'm going to make a video on that, a separate video.
Question it at all. But to me, the biggest, strongest, most athletic version of the NBA was the very late 90s into about 2010. And then it transitioned to being more about skills, ball handling, passing ability, shooting ability. Not so much strength, athleticism. If that's the case,
which is cool for me. It's cool. I embrace the new age and shit like that. The problem is the new age disrespects the older NBA, the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, 60s, and so on and so forth. I'm a young cat who my favorite era is the 2000s. Second is the 90s. Third is probably maybe the 2010s, and then the 80s. But you know what? Just because of Jordan, the 80s and as third. But you never see me come on here disrespecting the past legends, or that I may say that I think a player like, okay, my stance on Reggie Miller. I don't think Reggie Miller is a top 25 player, but I would take my position on that without diluting his, disrespecting his whole career and stuff like that. Like the plumbers and firemen and all that stuff. That's like very, very disrespectful. Like, it's no need for that. And we one of the only, like, the NBA is one of the only sports where the new age really disrespects the legends that was paid for them, bro. Like, the legends that paved the way. Like, it's crazy, and I really don't understand it. Like, I really don't understand it. That's why I know I'm getting a lot older mentally, because anybody that says Allen Iverson is overrated, boy.
case, Zion Williamson would be a guy more marketed, would be killing.
He would be killing in 2000s.
Suitable for other types of players. You see what I'm saying? But back to AI. This is a guy that's 6 feet, dominating in the league where the average height is 6'7". That's like if you're playing rec ball or whatever, and you got just average height people there. The average height, let's say, is 5'10".
Whatever you have to do.
And you got a guy who is 5'3", 5'3", and he's dominating the game. 5'3". You got Mickey Rooney dominating the game. You know how fucking awesome that is?
Yes.
To be able to dominate people that are 7
That shit was amazing,
and
bro.
not to mention also the fact that AI was playing the league when you still had trees down low.
Oh man, talk that talk too, Raw.
You still had the Kimmy Mutombo, even though he did play with the Kimmy Mutombo. You had Jason Williams before he blew away that Limo driver. You had Theo Ratliff, who he did play with. You had Dave Robinson, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You had Rick Smits. You had Ewan. You had Olajuwon. You had all these bigs. Divock. Guys that actually were playing the traditional high or low post position.
Yep.
Not these guys that are, stretch fives or stretch fours, just all on the perimeter. So the lanes are wide open. No, you had bigs that were playing down low. The Vita Sabonises, okay? You had real legitimate rim protectors. You had real legitimate guys that you had to worry about at the rim, blocking your shit.
Yep.
And here's AI, a guy that is athletic, but he's the smallest guy on the court. And he's also the only real offensive threat on those teams. Now,
what did I just say, bro? I told you me and Two Raw be on, be on the same wavelength, bro.
Does it get played up too much that he played with bums? No, AI didn't play with bums.
No.
Okay, he didn't. Aaron McKee was 6th man of the year. Larry Brown was a great coach. He played a lot of solid veteran players. Dikembe Mutombo was a defensive player of the year, award winner 4 times, I believe. One of the great shot blockers in the history of NBA. One of the great rebounders in the history of NBA. And he was pivotal for that finals run. Without him, that team doesn't go to the finals.
Nope.
Now, I don't ever want to denigrate that team. George Lynch was a great defensive player. Okay, Eric Snow was a really high IQ point guard, very high IQ. Didn't turn the ball over, made great decisions with the basketball. He's also one of the players who I emphasize about how LeBron James didn't play with a bunch of bums, even though people want to say he played with a bunch of bums. Okay, you know, so no, he didn't play with guys who were bums. He played with guys that played their roles. It was a great defensive team, but he did not have help offensively. The spacing on those teams were atrocious. And if you watch those games, Allen Iverson was often double teamed. And, you know, he didn't really have a lot of room to get his shot off. If he played in today's NBA, I guarantee you his field goal percentage would have soared dramatically.
He'd be shooting like almost 50%.
Now, when you look at all of these factors, when you look at the fact that he was such an aggressive scorer, that he shot the ball on average more than any other player in NBA history. Okay? I believe he shot the ball more than any other player in NBA history. He's either number one or number two, I think. I believe
AI shot the ball 23 times a game. I think he attempted 23 or 24 shots a game. But if you watch those teams, you understand why. Literally the only offensive scorer that could get his own shot, literally. And then he had to really create for a lot of other people too. Him and Eric Snow. You know what I'm saying? Aaron McKee could kind of help him a little bit some of the time. Or if, you know what I'm saying, Dikembe get an open dunk down wide. But he literally had to put up 25, 30. Really 30.
He shot it. I believe he's number two, actually. I think Elgin Baylor on a per game basis is number one. I think AI is either number two or number three.
Listen, AI is not overrated.